This is lesson 76 in Algebra 2 using both substitution and elimination and negative vectors. So this could quite possibly be the first video of 2, but we'll see how it goes and see how that plays out and how fast I can talk. Alright, so at this point you have used two variables and two equations to solve. So you've done things like this, two variables and two equations, and you've used substitution and elimination to solve these. Alright, and in this section we're going to use both substitution and elimination in order to solve. So what we're going to do is I'm going to give you an equation with three variables and three equations. X equals 2y, x plus y plus z. My z's have a line through them, and they kind of look like 2's, but that line through them makes them a z. Okay, now I'm solving that. I want to find out what x, y, and z is. Okay, so in order to do this, I have to eliminate one of the variables, either the x's, the y's, or the z's, and eliminate one of the equations, so I only have two. So I have two equations and two variables. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look right here, and I see that anytime I see an x, I can put a 2y in there. So for this equation right here, I'm going to put, whoops, not a 2x, I'm going to put a 2y instead of an x. And for the second one, I'm going to put a 2y instead of the x. And I'm going to combine. So I'm going to look at this one first, and I get 3y plus z equals 9. And this one here, I'll do this one in yellow. 2y minus 3y is negative 1y minus 2z equals negative 8. Okay, so let's move this up. So this is really all I have to look at, is this right here. And then I'm going to use I used substitution before because I kept substituting that, what was it? I kept substituting 2y in for x. Okay, so now I'm done doing that, and I need to get rid of this stupid pink thing. And now I'm going to use elimination to figure that one out. So in order to keep going here, I need to make this y a negative 3y instead of a negative 1y. So I'm going to multiply. I'm going to write the top one as is, and I'm going to distribute that 3. Okay, so I multiplied it by this, this, and that. Now when I add, those go away. So I have a plus 1z minus 6z is negative 5z equals 24, and 9 is going to give me a negative 15. Divide by negative 5, divide by negative 5, and my z then equals a positive 3. So I just found out one of my letters, and it was 3. Now let's go all the way back. Let's get rid of this. We're kind of done with that. I found out what z is. Okay, so let's go back up here. My original problem right here, those three things, and I found out z is 3. So now I have to find out what my x and y are. Alright, so how do I do that? Well, I don't have any z's in here, so I can't do anything here, but I can take these two. In fact, I'm going to rewrite those and get rid of this mess, because all we're caring about right now are these two equations because they both have z's in them. So I'm going to rewrite them as x plus y plus z equals 9. Okay, so let's go ahead and get rid of all this other junk here. And we will move this over here. Okay, so what did I say z is? I said z was 3. So let's put 3 in there. Okay, and we're going to take all of our numbers that are by themselves and move them over to the other side. So I took this -6 and added it here and got -2, and that's where that one came from. So now I have two equations in two variables. So if I multiply this one, I'm going to do this in yellow and get rid of this. I'm going to multiply the bottom by a negative so that this is a positive and this is a negative. So I get x plus 6, oops, come on Gary, x plus y equals 6, and the bottom is going to be -x plus 3y equals 2. Add these and they go away, and I have 4y equals 8 and y equals 2. Okay, so now I have y equals 2. Now I can take my z is 3 and my y is 2 and put it in either one of these equations here to find my x. So let's just take the top one. X plus y is 2 plus z is 3 equals 9. So x plus 5 equals 9. So x equals 4. So at this point I found my x, my y, and my z using both substitution and elimination in order to do that. Alright, let's look at the second example, and then that'll be it for examples for this particular part of the lesson. Okay, so there's example 76.2, 3 equations. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at the simplest one, and I'm going to rewrite that as x equals 3z. So what that means then is I'm going to look at the other two equations, and whenever I see an x, I'm going to put a 3z in there. So that'll get rid of my x's, leaving me with just y's and z's. Z here and z's here. Okay, so let's go ahead and rewrite these. 2, so instead of an x, I'm going to put a 3z. Okay, and then the second equation, instead of an x, I'm going to put a 3z. Okay, now I'm going to take these two equations and just simplify them. So the top one will be 6z plus 2y minus z equals 12. And the bottom will be 9z minus y plus 2z equals 21. And notice I have a z here and a z here, so I'm going to combine those. And I'm going to get 5z plus 2y equals 12. So that's that simplified. 9z and 2z is 11z. Okay, so there's my current problem right there. So I'm going to rewrite it, and then once I'm done rewriting it, then we'll go ahead and solve it. So 5z plus 2y equals 12. 11z minus y equals 21. Alright, so let's go ahead and use elimination to solve that. Okay, so what I did is I got rid of everything except my original and then what I ended up with. Alright, so I am going to multiply this bottom by a 2 so that that becomes a negative 2y so that I can combine those two to get rid of my y. So let's do that. 5z plus 2y equals 12. That stayed the same. 22z minus 2y equals 42. Add those together, those go away, and we have 27 z equals 42, 52, 54, so z equals 2. So z equals 2. So now I can look here and I can solve for x by putting in a 2 for z. And x equals 6. Now I can take the 2 and the 6 and plug them in one of these problems. So let's take the top one. Okay, 12 and negative 2 is 10. Subtract 10 from both sides. And y then equals 1. So y equals 1. Y equals 1. X equals 6. Z equals 2. And that's it. So that's it for the first part of this lesson. We'll do negative vectors in 76B as in boy.